All right. Now I guess we better get the we need the invite. URL. Here. Here. Edit. Edit. All right, back here. All right, somebody's here. Let's see. First time using this, just figuring it out. So Jessica, if you'd like to come on, just let me know and I'll pull you up. You don't have to do anything, just other than let me know in the chat. Okay, let's go to share and well, that's not going to work. Okay, let's go down this. Let's go here. Yeah, we're going to start here in just a minute. Let people come in. Anybody that wants to come in, go to the Zoom room. The link is in the body of this video. And I'm going to put on a little music, give people some time to come in. We can get up to, another 3 people on the screen besides myself, and we'll just talk about whatever we want to talk about. Real-time intel coming from those who are the boots on the ground for the universe, doing the work. That's me and you. All right, let's try a little, let's kick it up a little bit. How about that? Let's do that. Okay, hang on, we got to. Have a little fun with it. All right, we got 2 people in the house. All right, let me turn on the phone and see who's here, share it out. All right, let's see here. Okay. How's it going, everybody? We're going to do a little something different. We've tried a couple of times before. It's called an open mic, where we bring people in from the audience. The objective is to get some new faces in here. Some people that we haven't got to know yet. So let's see if we can get some new faces in here. If you want to come onto the screen, go to the Zoom room. The link is in the body of the announcement and also in the body of this post. We got 40 people in the house. All right, let's check the sound. How's it going, everybody? All right, turn that down. Let's see here. Sean Knight's back. Megan McMahon. Rosaline Blacker, Victor McKechnie, Charlotte Lenore Jacobson, Ivania is in the house. Tom Bear's here, Ann Met, Foss Mickelson, John Montgomery, and quite a few other people. I can't see everybody. So anybody that wants to come on the screen, come on over to the Zoom room. And just when you come in the Zoom room, let me know in the chat that you want to come up on the screen. In the meantime, I'm just going to wing it, right? I was going to play a little video, but I think we'll, so I'm inviting anyone and everyone. If you want to come on the screen, we're going to have a round table probably for a couple hours to talk about real-time issues. I see Jessica Woods in the house. If you haven't got over the 1111 movement, I would strongly suggest you do. And I'm inviting Jessica up right now if she'd like to come. Sarah Griffith says, I need you to record a rap as an intro to my online show. I am totally up for that. Absolutely. I will absolutely do that. I'll work with you on that. No problema. All right. Melissa Dehan, did you guys see that show earlier? WTF, man. That's what we do, man. That's what we all do. We show up every day. We're valiant souls, each and every one of us, you know, and far beyond time that we start giving ourselves some credit. Not to be arrogant, not to be overly proud, but just to own who we are, what we're a part of. And a big part of that is the realization that we've all done a lot of work, far greater than our universal family ever thought we could actually do. And remember, we're not just learning from them, they're learning from us. And everything that we're learning from them is just a remembering. Everything that we're doing is the new Akashic. It's the new good book. It's the expansion of the outer breath of Mother Universe. This is what we're doing. People like Sarah Griffiths, you know, Melissa Dehan, Yvonne down in Tasmania, all of these folks, Sue Baxter Fitz, these people like her who in the background are always supporting everyone out there in the community and doing what they do in their own way. And there's so many people like that that I could go on forever trying to list those people. We're trying our best every day to create an environment. Hey, what's up, Jeremy Lastman? Okay, I know Jeremy. He'll be wanting to come up here. Anybody that wants to come on, just let me know and I'll get you on here. I'm just going to do a little intro here. So, Annette, France, Europe, Annette, Jeremy, Jessica. Jessica, is that Jessica? All right. Any of y'all that want to come up, just let me know in the chat. I'll start pulling you up here in just a minute. We'll pull 2 or 3 people up here. I want to give a special hello to Louis Machi, my friend and brother from New York City. You know, it's been a long haul for 8 years, and it just makes my heart like start fluttering and tears start welling up. But there's some people that have been supporting Soulogy a long time, even before I met Morgan in the physical. And Louis Machi is one of them, and he's been a lifesaver at times for me. So I just want to recognize him, and so many other people. Like I said, I could not begin to name everybody because there's so many of them. But so let me just repeat what we're doing, then complete this intro, and let me reaffirm to Sarah Griffiths. I would love to do your intro. I'd love to do a conscious rap for your intro for your new online show, and also Soulogy would certainly do whatever it can to expand awareness of your show, and support it in any way possible that we can possibly do. Anyone that wants to come on the screen, come into the Zoom room. When you come into the Zoom room, please let me know in the chat if you want to come up on the screen, and I'll pull you up. We're looking for some new faces, but we can also Ann Met wants to come on. She's scared as heck, and this is what Soulogy is all about. So we'll bring you on. You're safe. You're going to be supported. We're all here to support you and meet you and get to know you. And, you know, like I say every day on these shows, it's the intuitive, creative, spontaneous, imaginative, and courageousness of this energy. If I can describe it, it would be those 5 words. So you bring the courage and I'll pull you up. And anybody else that wants to come up, I'll work you in. So, and Jeremy, I can pull you up too. We don't have to all be new faces, but let's see what we got here. Okay, I would love to come on. So, Ann, if you'd like to come on, give me a yes. Just give me a yes, because I'm not sure if that's a full yes. If you're saying I would love to come on, but I'm too scared to, or okay, yes, okay. So I'm going to bring Ann on. She's going to have to let us know her full name and everything, because some of the names aren't the same as on Facebook. So let me pull her up, and we'll get to know this beautiful sister. Let's see here. Promote panelists. Okay, this is fun. This is what it's all about. All right. Sritara 12. If you'd like to come on, anyone that'd like to come on, just let me know. Look at this. Hello.
Hi, Todd.
How are you doing?
I am good. It's very hot here in Europe, but
Is it?
I'm okay.
Yeah. And okay, so I know I recognize your name from comments and I think from a couple of places. What name do you go by on Facebook?
My own name, Annemette.
And Emeta, that's the name.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So all right, how are you doing? Thank you for coming on. Thank you for having the courage to come on. It's a pleasure to
Yeah,
meet.
actually, my guidance has encouraged me to come on, go public on Facebook and YouTube, and I hadn't done it. And now this came up, and I just thought, okay, let's do it.
Welcome to the party. And just
Yeah.
remember, crazy
I
isn't
don't know if
crazy.
the light is good because it's late in the evening. So
It's okay. It's okay. That's good. That's good. Brian Henry, if you want to come into the Zoom room as well. We're going to work people in here so we can get to know them. So if you come in the Zoom room, just let me know you want to come on. But we're going to spend a little time with each person. And also, last time we did it, we had I think 3 and myself on the screen at the same time, and we just have a roundtable discussion. So you're saying that the guidance has been telling you that you need to go come out of the closet, so to speak, like so many
yeah,
have done. Yeah.
too
And
long time in the closet.
yeah,
Actually, I have parts of me that I don't feel secure with. My human side is like scared. I have been like before in time I was the weirdest one. I was the weirdo.
yeah,
But since 2 3 years, all kinds of people are waking up. So we are getting bigger family.
that's right. That's right. And Victor, I'm going to bring you up in about 3 or 4 minutes to join us. Let's talk to Ann a little bit, so we can get to know her a little bit, and then we'll work you in. So don't leave. So tell me, now there's a lot of divine feminines around this planet, like my wife, who for 15, 20 years have been doing a lot of work with the universe in isolation by themselves, have been the odd person out, you know, and I have a feeling that you've been connected to the universe at a conscious level for quite some time. Is that true?
Yeah, for a very long time. But in the beginning, I thought I was crazy, like
Yeah.
everybody. But then it became the normal. But these days, I feel I'm very confronted with my human side. It's as if we can only step up nowadays. Like we have to step up. And I have had like the interview you did yesterday, or was it 1 hour ago? I don't even know.
I don't ever know
With
either.
the Irish lady where she said, my mind told that, my heart said that, but my mind told me that. I have
Yeah,
been like that. I have been like outraged, like a battlefield.
right. And that was this morning. I do remember that one. Yeah, that was Melissa Dehan. Yeah.
Yeah, that was great because I sometimes I feel like we go back, like, hey, am I back there? But it's as if the more we need to integrate, the more these things can't be in the body anymore. Like,
Yes. Yes.
and
Like
the
they.
more light comes in, the more the human side is freaking out and who am I? Who am I?
Right on.
Yeah,
So let me ask you this. Now, did you have a wake up experience years ago, or have you always been connected?
I have always been connected since a
Yeah.
child.
And do you communicate with certain faces of the universe, or just the universe as one voice?
No, I have several aspects. Syrian, Lyran, Vika. You say that?
Right. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and I have also been working with Inner Earth a lot.
Wow. Wow.
And
That's very interesting.
Earth itself. I
Yeah.
actually wanted to paint since I was a child. I wanted to do children's book, and I think my wake up call was really when I started sitting and paint, and all of a sudden an energy took over, and like I started painting these things and memories from Earth coming up and Inner Earth, and it was overwhelming. So
Wow. Now I don't want to get the cart before the horse, but I have a real affinity for Inner Earth. I've never really talked about it a lot. My own journey in terms of my memories of the galactic wars and the history of the Earth that I've received. Um, I really haven't talked about it, but there to me has always been a very strong pull to the inner earth and the Agarthians, and specifically Antarctica. Can you tell us a little bit about what you might know about inner earth and what memories you've had?
Yeah, I have seen lots of crystal palaces, and I feel like some vortexes on vortices. I'm sorry, English is not my first language.
You got it.
Some vortices on Earth are directly connected with inner Earth, and some places are like galactic war portals, like, and there are these space holders in these places. I mean, it's getting less and less war now, but I have also got like certain trees
Yeah.
are really connecting with inner Earth, like
Yeah.
they balance it out.
Yeah.
But that the people from inner Earth, they can't come out. They're like,
Yeah.
it's not that they are in prison. It could be seen like that from a human perspective, but I
Yes.
feel like they're in there, they're working, and they are waiting for some kind of, I don't know if it's an event or whatever, so that they can surface. But it's
Yeah.
not the moment yet.
No, no. And that kind of jives with what I've gotten on a personal level, like I said, that I haven't talked about. But one of the things that I don't know, I'm going to say this is my opinion, but my opinion is that we're at the center of a universal or multiversal shift, and it all comes down to the human hybrid soul. It all comes down to what we do collectively, what we're doing collectively, what's happening now. We're the ones that make it go. Some weird way, some way that this densest, heaviest realm is the closest to source in some way. It's that paradox of the universe. But I do think that they are, the inner earth families are very connected to us, and in this sense are waiting on us, no different than some of the galactic families that are in the starships and the other planets and celestial bodies.
Yeah, I also feel like they're very related to the crystals,
Yes.
and that they message the crystals on the Earth's surface. I don't know. It's as if they put messages in there, and people that pick up the crystals or get connected with crystals, they get the information.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. That makes sense to me. Let's let me just give the floor to you for 2, 3, 4 minutes, then we'll pull up the next person. You can stay with us, okay? And we'll have a discussion. Is that okay? So whatever you would like to convey to your brothers and sisters, whatever messages that you've received, over the years, or whatever you feel is most important, or whatever you'd like to talk about, the floor is yours.
Okay. I would like to say to everybody, don't be scared of the messages that you get, even if it seems weird. I have one that I hadn't gotten yet. It's like, I feel like there will be new plants, new animals, and new seeds. And I have got a message years ago that I am the seed keeper, and somebody will give me some seeds some one day. But
Wow.
it's just like to be confident that it's not, I mean, it is a dream, but that it's real, like, and honor all the different facets, as you say, the ego, the really love the human.
Yeah.
And love the body, and walk on earth, like really connect with Mother Earth.
Yeah.
Because if I feel like the galactics, they have one role, but without the earth, they can't do the job, kind of thing.
Yes, that's exactly what I was getting at a minute ago. All right, I'm going to pull up. I'm trying to see who was next. Vic. Vic is up next, so we're going to bring him on, and we're going to continue the discussion, and just be spontaneous, intuitive, creative, imaginative, and courageous. How's that? You all right with that?
Yeah.
Okay. I love that explanation, by the way. Let's see here. Let me unmute you. All right, this is Vic. Is that right?
Yeah, Victor.
Victor, yeah, I recognize your name. What's your last name?
McKechnie. It's hard to pronounce.
Victor McKechnie. And where are you from?
Texas.
Oh my God, I'm from Texas. What part of Texas are you from?
I was born in El Paso. I'm in Del Rio right now.
I've been there, man. Del Rio's a beautiful place. This is our beautiful sister, Anne. She's over in France. and
Hi,
she.
Ann.
Hi, Vic.
Hi.
So I don't know if you were listening, but she just came out of the closet for the first time, and
That's so awesome.
and I have a feeling we're going to be collaborating a little bit. So let me ask you, what's on your mind? What's going on in your world? And thank you for coming, by the way. Thank you for coming.
I always. I'm getting a call. Hold up a sec.
That's okay. That's okay. Did you see that painting he had? Wow, that was crazy.
No, I didn't see.
Yeah, that was great. We're going to pull up Brian in a minute. Brian Henry, who he has a talk show.
Todd, can I just show you my painting that I did these days? While we're waiting
Yes,
for Vic?
that's right. And that's how you woke up, was doing paintings, right?
Yeah, I haven't been doing this one.
Are those mandalas?
It's galactic signatures.
Wow. Can you give us can you tell us what is it? I mean, to me it's speaking to me, but there's no words. Can you tell us what it might be saying? Or is it just a
No, I haven't finished.
Yeah. But I can see it's got a message to it, definitely, right?
I don't know if you can see the colors.
Okay, let me yeah, that's beautiful. Yeah, I can see the colors. So you're not done with that one, right?
I mean, I feel like it's the new tapestry of the universe.
Ah,
And at the same time, it's the new tapestry of ourselves.
yeah.
But I'll let you talk to Vic.
No, we're both going to talk to Vic.
Okay.
So Vic's from he's a Texas homeboy just like me. And so what's on your mind, Vic?
Oh, lots of things. You know, what she was just talking about today, as a matter of fact, I was listening to some information where, you know, we've been here on Earth way more than one cycle. This isn't our first radio. There's civilizations that were here before us. Yeah. There's people here living on Earth right now that can tie their bloodlines back 20,000 years, but yet our secular history only goes back, 3,000 to 5,000 years.
Yeah.
And in those times, people communicated with the animals, people communicated with the trees, things were peaceful. And when she said that, I mean, I feel it too. I feel like there's a shift coming.
Yeah.
There's no reason why we cannot create that kind of a situation because we were there before.
Yeah. 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 There's something to be said for people like the two of you coming into this consciousness and consciously applying that knowledge, those memories, and that is wisdom. Wisdom is knowledge plus action, and it's happening at a wider and wider scale. We're talking to France, we're talking to Del Rio, Texas,
right? You're in Hawaii,
and I'm in Hawaii, and then we've got the gender polarities. We're fixing to bring on Brian Henry, who's got a talk show. He's a young man. His stuff is pure. These young people got this stuff. They're not as tainted as we are. So let me ask you, Vic, did you have the same type of story as so many of us, as Ann was talking about, where you were the outcast and all that stuff?
And I'm an only child and the black sheep, so I affectionately refer to myself as living birth control. So that there's a yes. I've been called crazy. I've been, people thought I was literally mentally ill and want to take me to psychiatrists and put me on medicine and whatnot.
Yeah. Welcome to the club. This is the crazy isn't crazy anymore club.
Right.
So do you have specific faces of the universe you communicate with, or you communicate with the one voice type of community?
That's a good question. I have the one voice. I communicate with the one voice regularly. I'm expanding as well. Okay, so remember the lady from Greece, the indigo crystal? Okay, the first time I saw her on your show, when she sung the song at the end, I don't know if you remember that. She sung a song at the end of your show.
Yeah.
And it sounded like there was two voices coming through. I kind of was like, I had to open my eyes and check and see if there was really two voices. But when I closed my eyes again, I saw two of my past lives through a veil.
Yeah.
And it was very incredible. One of them is where there was a Mayan there on top of a flat mountain.
Yeah.
Surrounded by rocks, and he was in front of a cave. He was attending to some kind of either a dream catcher or a small skin in a tree. And it was really cool, man. He was, young, buff, strong Mayan warrior with paint and feathers and whatnot. And so on that night, I had a dream where I walked into that cave and came out into a different world.
Wow.
And so all that night, I was given a workbench and these long, like special tongs, and there was doors that opened up on the back of this bench.
Yeah.
And every door held a different color of energy. And I had a waiting room, and there's people in this waiting room. They all had this crystal band built into their skin. And what they were doing is they were coming to me for energy replenishment.
Wow.
It was, and this wasn't just a dream. This was an out-of-body experience. This happened all night.
Yeah.
It was a pleasure. I spoke all language.
Yeah.
It was incredible,
Yeah, this is what it's all about. These aren't dreams. These, we were told our imagination is, not real. And these are the things that are real. And that's incredible. That the vortex that we all create, which I call Soulogy, in these instances like today, actually activate, I believe, and I say it on the shows all the time, our highest downloads, our most powerful channelings and transmissions come from each other. They really do. And these types of stories. In fact, you look very familiar to me. I don't know if we served in Pancho Villa's army together or what happened. But
could have been. You look familiar too.
Yeah, I can totally relate to you somehow. I can see it in your eyes, and of course I'm very familiar with the culture because I grew up in South Texas. And let me ask you a question: have you had any past life experience or memories, galactic or anything like that?
Oh yeah, a lot.
Yeah.
I have had actually tracing back to the wars, to certain situations where I lost my power because I got into some abusive things. I saw where I failed discernment, and I have lots of power issues. So
wow. Let's bring Brian Henry on, and then you guys think about a topic that you might want to talk about, and we'll just go around the horn and everybody give their perspectives. Does that sound okay?
Sounds awesome.
That sound okay? Okay, let me bring Brian up, and we'll have a good mix. Me and Brian will be the two young people, since I'm the youngest here. And no, I'm kidding. But let's see here. Let's get him up here. Let him introduce himself. And all right.
Hello. Am I on the right way here?
You're sideways.
Now I'm good, right?
Yeah, I just want to throw this in, and maybe this is the subject because this is the third person. We're going to let Brian introduce himself. But Pamela Johnson, who's one of those that I was talking about earlier, who supports everybody, who's done the work for many years, she suggested let's keep talking Inner Earth. And Paul Castaneda, who's here for every show, said let's talk about Inner Earth a little bit. But before we do that, this is Brian Henry. This young man is quietly putting out some incredible expressions. I would encourage everybody to get to his personal Facebook page, YouTube, and he has a group. I don't remember the name of it or the show. You can tell us what it is. But this is Brian Henry. I had the pleasure and honor of being on his show, and it actually was my favorite broadcast. One of my favorite ever, having 3,500 shows or broadcasts. So Brian Henry, tell us who you are. TogetherWeAscend.com. That's it.
There it is. You honor me, Todd. Thank you so much for having me here and for just creating this space. And let me just say on my end, having you on the show was one of the best episodes I've ever done. The audience was going crazy in that stream, I remember. So thank you again for that. I don't know, where do I begin? Together We Ascend.
What did you have TogetherWeAscend.com is your website. You do a weekly show, but let's tell us, we're going to get into a talk here on some different issues. And I just want to say to each one of you that I would love to do a show with you individually if you guys are up for it. and we can talk about it or message after the show. And anyone else that comes on, especially if it's the first time on. Now, did you have a wake up experience? I mean, did you go through something? You're younger than most of the people that we talk to, but did you have something occur?
Yeah, we did. I would say maybe when I was around 17, so 8-9 years ago. Actually, my first experiences with anything outside of the ordinary wasn't the most fun ones.
I had
We were kind of we were thrusted in some interactions with, I guess the best way to describe it is negative entities, ones that had malicious intent.
Yeah.
And this is before like I've experienced anything of the sort before. So having that, just kind of come out of nowhere was definitely a challenge, and scary. I can admit to that. We dealt with that for my partner and I, who I mean when I say we dealt with that for years, and it's I mean, I can get into as much details as you like. I'm fairly transparent, but it got pretty bad at some points, and looking back on it, I can definitely say that I'm grateful for the experience, because if it wasn't for all that we've been through, wouldn't have been able to learn all that I've learned up until this point. So a lot of my
Are y'all still together?
Yeah, that's my
Wow. So
that's my divine compliment, my man.
17 years old, and you guys were together, and you went through hell, and demonic things, and you're still together. How old are you now?
I'm 26.
Wow. Welcome to the party. So so we'll definitely we'll definitely talk about this more. Certainly do a show on our show, as we talked about. Let's start with Ann. Let's start with Ann, and because she brought it up, and we really, in 1100 plus episodes of Soul Speaks 5D, we haven't talked Inner Earth, and I admitted to her when she brought it up that it's something that I've had some recollection of and connection to. So can you tell us in general, and can you tell us, and then we'll go around the horn, and then to Brian, can you give us or just kind of reiterate the information that you gave us about Inner Earth, and anything else you can add to start us off?
Actually, I feel like it's a whole society in there, and that it's crystal. It's like, it's even difficult to explain, because there are colors, and trees seems like trees, but it's all crystal like. That's what I got. And that they are like waiting to come out, and they can't get out at the moment. But now I don't feel like I can't repeat it, because I was channeling before.
I got you. And
it's difficult to come back, but I feel like they are waiting for us to show up.
And have you had a vision or interaction with the beings? I mean, do you know what they look like? Our brothers down there, sisters down there?
No, I feel like they look not like us, but they know the human. Some of us have gone in there. Some of the human have got in there, that I feel like some people have literally disappeared to go in there.
Yeah, they say that there's an entrance in Mount Shasta, and what about Vic? I mean, there's been a lot of stuff on YouTube and other social media venues in regard to Antarctica, in regard to they're trying to keep what the reality of Antarctica is away from the population. Do you have any thoughts on that, or do you have any intel on Antarctica or Inner Earth?
Well, I know, in the 40s, wasn't it, when the Nazis were trying to get down into Antarctica, and there wouldn't be something secret down there if we weren't trying to hide it. And there's a lot of intel that says there's UFOs going in and out, also in and out of the ocean at will, in and out of mountains. So I think personally we would be naive to think that we're here alone. Maybe they dwell down there permanently, or this is a pass-through kind of thing. But I've had instances where I've had like beings talk to me through crystal walls, and give me instruction on things, you know, and it's not with a voice, it's more of a vibration that you feel, you know, it's that you like it's about the only way I could describe it. I can't really describe it.
So you're saying a lot of what Anna said, in that there's a crystal presence or a crystal structure there, and you're saying that you've actually had beings speak through these crystal walls to you. Is that right?
Yes, I had an experience. This is not necessarily matching hers because I couldn't tell you that this was underground. But what was shown to me is that I got a message that was, you know, it showed me, I got shown a plus sign, positive and negative on a battery. Okay, and so we, you know, the basic instruction for me is yes, your human is a battery. You have a positive and a negative side. Okay, now, and in a broader sense or deeper sense too, we also have good and bad vibrations. We have up and down. We have all of this, you know, stuff that makes us so complicated in us as well, right? But it's still that energy that makes us us. And so as we recognize that, then we, you know, the instruction is to love myself wholly, the bad just as much as the good, and not leave anything incomplete.
Beautiful.
And so and then so what I was showing after that was, once that's achieved, you see a connection with the universe.
Yeah.
Okay. And then within the universe, it's not just you, because we're all one in our consciousness.
Yeah.
So I was showing the collective and how out of balance it is. Everybody's confused, running around like, you know, it's war and chaos and all of these things nobody knows.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And so
distorted.
Yes,
distorted.
very
It's a distorted
distorted
propaganda campaign, evidently, and we're all waking up to it. So this is interesting, you know, with what Vic just said, Victor, and with what Brian introed with. I can relate to Brian's story. I'm not going to say that I came in the door of awakening through, well, I did. I mean, the cosmic Jesus appeared in the trees and talked to me, but what he was telling me was, tomorrow your life's going to flip upside down and you're going to walk into hell for about 2,000 days. And so I can kind of relate to Brian. And I find that interesting, coming off of Victor's comments there, that Brian, you were introduced, not only were you introduced into reality through dark energies or dark entities or dark or negative experiences, but you also walked through that fire, that hell, with your divine conscious partner at a very young age. That's pretty mind-blowing. I don't want to totally bypass the inner earth subject, so any comments you have on that, but also my question to you would be, how did going through that darkness bring you to the space you're in now, which I can tell is balanced?
Well, to the topic of inner earth, unfortunately, I don't feel like I have much to add to that. I not too much, really, any experience or anything worth sharing to that conversation. But if you'd like, I can definitely answer your second question there, Todd. Yeah. You know, that experience is what helped me understand our power. The only way that we were able to move through the experiences that we were having was we had to check in, we had to discover in ourselves what we were capable of. And I mean, to sum it all up, we discovered the power of love. That's ultimately what was able to allow us to, I say, move beyond the experience, although in some ways that there, you know, that's not, I feel like it's a day-to-day thing that we're faced with, to choose that higher vibration, to choose love. I'll give you a simple example to kind of make a little bit more sense. She would be, for lack of a better way of putting it, spiritually attacked by this entity. She was able to be harmed by it. And we realized very soon that her state of being, her emotional state, had a very, very clear, was a clear factor in how vulnerable she was. Yeah. So an example would be when we weren't connected and we can feel a disconnect between us, she was more susceptible to things like this happening. And
Yeah.
so that led into understanding, like, this was prior to any understanding of energy healing or energy at all. And all of this, again, the only way that we would have been able to have gone through it is if we saw the signs around what helped, what didn't help, and it all pointed back to our power to heal and choose love as the highest vibration. And that was the biggest message the biggest lesson we could learn from this experience.
Wow.
So that's
Wow. That's
my connecting to my power was because of this. It all stemmed from that.
Yeah. That's fascinating. It's super fascinating that you went through it with your partner, and y'all been together since you're 17 going through this stuff. So I'm also going to say I'd love to have you on the show, but also the both of you together if you guys are up for it. I think that would be a fantastic.
I certainly am, and I think she would be as well.
I think it'd be an awesome thing. I want to recognize Terry Willette. Terry Willette's been a big supporter behind the scenes with her comments and engagements with Soulogy, and I don't think I've ever thanked her, and I just want to say thank you. She has she also is a healer and does some stuff too. Again, very quietly, like so many of these divine feminines have been doing for so long, that are coming out now, like Anne has. But she says here, just to close out the hollow earth, the inner earth thing, she says, before my husband transitioned about a year prior, he had an experience going to hollow earth. He said he thought he was dreaming, but it felt real. I believe it was real. He described talking to a being that was blue and had bird features. I think it was a blue avian. He said it was a beautiful place, along with much more. That actually aligns with some of the stuff that I've received. The blue avian was the first thing that ever, an aspect of me that ever really connected with me. I'd never even heard of anything galactic until I met Morgan, because she's a straight up galactic. I don't think she's got much human in her at all, but that's just a joke. But that was very prominent. And the blue skin, as recently as 2 days ago, I had a third eye burst, and I started watching kind of a movie of Morgan, and she had blue skin. And then I saw us together. We had blue skin, and then I saw like more of a community. Everybody had blue skin. So I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means at all. I think that's fascinating. I'm going to take this back to Anne now, and say, you know, going back to her intro and Victor's intro, we were all the odd one out. We were all the oddball. There seems to be two things that have come to the surface here. One is this is a very dense realm, and every single one of these souls that came down here has gone through its own hell and pain, because that pain and hell's exactly the same. Mine's equal to yours, mine's equal to yours, and yours proportionate to our life experience. But there also seems to be another one. And that other one seems to be folks like you, people like the three of you, who are kind of out there, coming out now, leading the way in their own way, whether they're in front of a bunch of people or whether they're doing it quietly in their own room, in the solitude of the universal isolation, but doing the grid work, sending the blessings, doing the healing, communicating with the universe, giving life force to the reality of what we might call the non-physical. And I know you must have had some traumas and trials and tribulations. Have you seen more balance in your life over the last couple of years as more and more people are awakening?
If I have seen?
Yes. Have you experienced more balance and say more bliss?
I felt like since the February or March that some kind of weight had been off my shoulders, that I could hold less huge things. And I also felt like some deep psychic things that I have never really talked about. But like, I sometimes felt that I was crazy in my psyche, like the inner child. And then I found out that I had been hijacked since I was a child.
Mm.
And I wanted to ask Brian, actually, do you feel like you still have some kind of issues in parallel realities, that you have kind of aspects that you need to call into yourself to get rid of this? I just wanted to tell you that because that's what I have done. I feel like all these psychic things that we can have, like, it's very on a very deep, intimate level in oneself, that we can have these things as a child that scared us or whatever. But I feel it's related to collectives, and I feel it's related to bad persons, if you can, they're no bad or not bad, but
Yeah.
bad persons in the universe that are trying to like hijack. I have had lots of problems with, like, sometimes I feel like some people came into my brain. It was really weird. I have had less and less of that, but where I feel the balance comes in is that we are all stabilizing. The
Yeah.
more people wake up, we stabilize, and they have less and less access.
Yeah.
We are not the only ones anymore that
Yeah.
are holding the space.
What about you, Victor? You got any comments on this?
Man, you know, speaking of demonic attack, you know, from a religious standpoint, they would be saying that you are suffering evil.
Yeah.
Or that you are you know, you're messing around with Satan or doing bad things because you have all this badness coming to you, and you're seeing, you know, all these horrible things. I experienced some of that stuff too. I saw weird monsters and had very just crazy experiences around my children. It was very unnerving, and then it would seem to follow, and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
But now going back to what she was saying, I was doing like an active meditation, and I kind of slipped out of my body, and I went into like a blue space kind of area where I saw a big, huge blue. I would say it was the only way I could describe it would be like a god head, like a female head outlined in stars with beautiful cheekbones, no hair, just looking out at the universe.
Wow.
And then I started crying and releasing, man. I was just tears of joy came out, and I was like, wow, you know. And there was very few stars there. There wasn't too many.
Wow.
You know, and in the sense I got of it, that she was how would you say, a galactic ambassador on our behalf.
Yeah.
Outwards. And so it didn't speak to me at that time or anything like that. And then I had, you know, here I am, I'm over at a friend's house. We're having a beer, you know, with my buddy. And my dogs are playing around. I'm sorry.
All right, you're good.
So, you know, I'm talking to these guys, and then, you know, sometimes when your ears ring, sometimes they vibrate real hard. I started getting dizzy. I started feeling like I was going to pass out. So I got up on my feet and started moving around, you know, and then the feeling got more intense, and I had to lean up against the garage door, and these guys, I was talking to two people, and their voice fade out, and all I can hear is this real, you know, it was a feeling and a hearing at the same time. Stop it.
You're good. We can hear you.
Okay. And then there was like this swirling of dark energy, but it wasn't necessarily dark energy. It was like swirling of consciousness, but individual consciousnesses. And they were like, yeah. And then all of a sudden I saw, then I was in the room with Blue again. And all of these people wanted to come and bombard me. Hey, he can hear us. He can hear us. I want to talk to him. And everybody started fighting over me.
Wow.
And, you know, and then all of a sudden the Godhead wanted to turn around. And I'm in public and I'm starting to freak out, man. I had to shut all of that off real quick, you know, because first of all, if there's, you know, I want to personally be in control of my space, you know, and I felt like these things, you know, were just a little too happy that I could actually hear them.
Wow, this is good stuff, man. Let me throw mine in, and I'm going to hit Brian with a question off of what Ann said. So let me just say this: the dark energy thing. I can remember would have been last summer. Morgan came down for the second time before we got married, and we about 3 or 4 days into the visit, we were in Georgia, and we were laying in bed, we clasped hands like we do every night, and let's see what's going to happen. So this is giving a lot of validation and to the topics that have been brought up. One, the ringing. I get a lot of ringing like a lot of people do. I heard some ringing. I'm laying next to her, and I said, they're coming. And then it happened again. I said, they're getting closer. And then it happened again. I said, I think they're here. So I looked up at the ceiling, and there was a big, dark, energetic body. So my first point is it was dark, but it wasn't evil. It was just dark. It just looked dark. It looked grayish, blackish. And of course, she looked at me and said, I said, do you see that? She said, yeah, I've been watching it for 5 minutes. They've been here the whole time. My point is we didn't get scared. We did have each other there, but we remained calm, remained in our fear. We communicated with them, and they ended up it coming a few times, but they ended up actually materializing in the room. They were star family beings. 2 of them were aspects of me, and they actually entered my body. Now, the reason I'm saying this all is because just to relay the experience and how it's got the connectivity to some of the things you're talking about. I think that's it. You know, I've also had the kind of experiences Brian had, and I don't feel that I got to the point of balance until I used to take these long walks in the cemetery next to my house before I hit the road in 2016, and I saw a lot of stuff out there, including reptilians, including some other dark energies, some that were very much beyond an apparition even. But until I could hold my arms out, and I remember the moments that I accept all aspects of light and dark in equal love and equal, you know, in my body, my energetic body, that's when it kind of happened for me. So I want to go back to what Anne said about what's the question she asked you, and really to answer this from your own experience and or whatever thoughts you might have in your observations. So I can kind of see where some of the stuff that I needed to pull in or integrate or balance came from parallel or alternate experiences. And I've watched many timelines play out in my own life and be put to bed. Do you think, Brian, that there was, obviously you and your partner have a relationship way beyond this incarnation? Do you think that some of the stuff you were dealing with were coming from parallel universes or alternate timelines? And do you have any memories or recall of that at all?
So there's one thing that the question does trigger that I feel is relevant, and it's that a higher dimensional aspect of my partner first started spontaneously coming through in response to this entity or these negative entities, and it wasn't long before we realized that it was almost of a protection mechanism. This wasn't something that she was doing intentionally at this point. And this was the first of us, well, me getting to experience and interact with this aspect of herself that since she has learned to channel. So to paint you a picture of this, when these problems would arise, a few years after this first started happening, something that began to happen was this benevolent higher dimensional aspect of my partner would come through, and it was explained to me that she was coming in space to kind of protect my partner and her vessel. So that, I think, just clearly paints the point that, yes, I think integrating these higher aspects of ourselves and calling for them can be a very powerful and beneficial thing. And this was happening again spontaneously. She wasn't choosing to do it. Again, now she's gotten to the point where she can do so with will. So I do think we are being called to integrate higher frequency expressions of ourselves and to reach for and feel that. I mean, ultimately, to me, that means expanding into the fullness of what we are. And it's one and the same, I think, with raising our own personal vibrations. Does that kind of address the question? Did I interpret it right?
Absolutely, yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, it is right. It's all right. Always all right.
There you go. Yeah. So it's definitely something I set the intention in doing. And I think the more we feel into that, these aspects of ourselves and these frequencies, only the more positive we're going to feel, the better we're going to feel in this now experience.
Yeah. My back of my head's tingling, so I know I got to bring this up. So something's happening. So one of the things I've been struggling with, thank you all for your answers. I'm getting tired. I'm getting tired of a lot of stuff I see out there. And I'm not talking about this type of forum. I'm not talking about the 99.9%. My stepfather worked for the CIA for 25 years. He told me things in the 70s that I didn't really understand at the time. That all came to light as I awakened and as the information disclosure started occurring, or whatever you want to call it, in these alternate news. But I've always understood something that I gained from him, which is basically you've got to question everything that you see out there that's getting any press and any exposure. And so I question that. Now I have, like a lot of people, when I woke up, learned a lot of things from, say, David Icke, or from some of the other people that have been out there, Jordan Maxwell. But everything seems to kind of like run its course and lose the impact that it had. I guess what I'm trying to say is that, to me, anything that's getting a lot of exposure, even if it looks like it's the what am I trying to say? The long shot, the one that's not in power, such as Gaia TV or David Icke. I really find that these types of forum, the 99.9% carries the vibration and the frequency that I want to be aligned with. And everything I'm seeing out there in this movie that's being presented, I'm really finding less and less resonance with. I'd just like to hear your comments, and I'll start with Ann. Is there anyone out there that you find that you resonate with, that does get some exposure, that you feel has credibility and is someone that we should listen to?
It's a difficult question, because 10 years ago I would have told you, yeah, there's this one and this one and this one. But now it's like, we are the pillars. Like, we contain it all. We have the answers. And I feel like it's not that it was propaganda, but there was something about it that was highlighted with an energy that now I am today. I would say it was not that it was fake, but it was like trying to divert something to get us in a certain direction, and that the direction was not over there, but in here.
Yeah. Good point. Yeah, good point. What about you, Victor?
I kind of feel the same way. I've come out of religion. I've come out of unlearning everything I've learned as best as I can, and still trying to unlearn everything else that I can't forget, and I find that I'm not looking for like leadership. We don't need leaders. I'm not looking to follow anybody. What I am is seeking my own personal truth, right? And then, I haven't really gotten to talk to too many people, but as we get to communicate and we get to actually say the things and experiences that we've been having, we can find that most of us are going down the same road, just taking a different path, but we're all going to end up at the same place.
Yeah. Pamela Johnson brings up a good point. She says they did not continue to grow. There was ego and money involved. But she says still gratitude for what they showed us. And by all means, what I received a transmission. I actually watched the video on my memories on Facebook. I think it was from 3 or 4 years ago. And it was an impromptu spirit walk, and it was about what has served you, who has served you, that get you to this point isn't necessarily what or who's going to get you to the next point. And I think Victor said it all there when he said, finding your own truth. That's how we actually expand this collective experience and strengthen the collective. Edith Ann said, in regard to Brian, which falls right in with it, that Brian said, quote unquote, expanding into the very fullness of who we are. And then Terry Willett agreeing with Ann or echoing Ann saying, quote unquote, we are the pillars. We are the pillars. And that was my point in regard to the 99.99%, you know, and to conclude that, Victor's saying to find your own truth, you know. I find that when the attention, we talked about this in the show that Ann was talking about this morning with Melissa Dehan, when the attention is out there, then I've violated my own, we're talking boundaries. I've violated my boundaries because I've left my boundaries. I've left my field. And to Victor's point, this is where our strength is. To Brian's point and Ann's, this is where our strength is, you know. And I'm just saying that I resonate and align with the 99.9. I trust these people that I'm looking at and these people here that are participating with us. I do not trust what's out there because there's too much propaganda, there's too much confusion, and the truth is it's out of my field. We control all of that from that truth that we find in ourselves, like Victor described. Yeah. So let's go back to Ann. Everybody okay? Everybody good? Anybody need to go?
I'm good.
I'm doing excellent.
Ann, you okay, Ann?
Yeah, I actually have a question.
Good.
It's about, I don't know if you guys sometimes get triggered by something and it just is coming in from the ethers and you can just feel like shit is coming in, like really. I had to go to bed the other night and I laid down. I was just like, oh no, what's going on? I thought it was my room, so I went into my daughter's room. Oh no, I couldn't sleep in there. I went outside. No, neither in the garden. And actually, I got so triggered and my whole body got in panic mode. I think I would just like to ask you if you sometimes experience that these big universal triggers get in and you feel them before they even come. And then after it just hits a trigger point and then shit is out. I got so panicked that I had to get up and call Australia because a friend down there didn't sleep at that moment just to calm down, but it didn't calm down. It was still there, but I don't know how you guys address these kind of things because I'm a little lost in that area.
Well, let's we'll start with Victor. I'll just throw in my little comment. Morgan, because I'm graced with being on this journey with her and learned a lot. And she'll say to me, when things happen, sometimes she'll say, sometimes it's you, sometimes it's me, and sometimes it's just the energy. And I agree with you. I think that there are times when it's very palpable that you can go on the news feed and you can see everybody's being hit with it. I find for myself, you know, solitude, sleep, sometimes food, not to be as a distraction, but just because I hear my body, I can feel the energy being sucked from my body, basically. And also, I find that when I go on the news feed to see what's going on with other people, it's that type of explanation that really aligns with my heart. It's not the, hey, you need to do this and you need to do that, and the know-it-all type of commentary. It's somebody saying, oh my God, the universe is kicking my ass right now and I'm about to pull my hair out. That actually helps me because then I realize, okay, it's everywhere. Victor, you got any comments on that?
I've had, I've had times where I've had to go lay down. I felt like, there was times it hits me differently. Sometimes I feel like I'm going to pass out. Like I wonder if I have some kind of a weird health issue.
Yeah.
Might get sweaty. I might get nauseous, but most of the time I'll end up in bed. Yeah. Panic. I get panicked as well. And I usually just try to breathe my way through it. Realize that it's nothing that I did. I didn't do anything wrong. We're all good.
Yeah.
And that I could possibly be creating this, this instance. Y'all behave. Our dogs won't stop playing. Y'all behave.
We're good. We can hear you fine.
Okay. Yeah, but they're gonna be like they're
sounds like a horse, actually.
Yeah, Yeah, we got a couple of fatties over
So-
here going at it.
Well,
But,
this is Soulogy. This is Soulogy. Anything goes. So
all right.
I don't know if you want to put the camera on him, but that's, so
No.
yeah. So yeah, like you said, we're all right. We're all right. It's nothing. Sometimes it's just the energy. Yeah.
I actually have something to add there, Todd.
Yeah.
One of the things that have served me here is that when these creatures come up, like, and you described, you notice it's outside of what you're noticing from not, it's not your stuff, it's outside you. One of the things that one of my takes is that this is us being called to transmute this energy. And we're only faced with this because we can handle it. And I find a sense of empowerment in knowing that I'm being given this to transmute. And it's not this sacrificial position that I'm taking on. It's more of I'm being handed this because I can handle it. And there's this sense of power and empowerment that comes from I'm being called on to support our collective by transmuting this energy, and that in itself can completely shift the energy. So of course it's always going to be acceptance, right? I think acceptance is definitely fundamental to allowing for it to pass through and transmuting it. But again, I think like taking it on like that with that sense of empowerment can be a very effective way of handling it as well, my personal experience.
And were you going to add something, Ann?
Oh yeah, I would just thank you so much, Brian, because that was my missing piece.
There was an incredible lady on a couple of days ago, first show of the day, Charan, and I can't remember her last name. I think it's Sudhar. She's a geneticist. She worked in a laboratory for 13 years, studied DNA at that level. And anyway, I went to her YouTube while we were doing the show and wanted to show everyone some of the animation she does, explaining the things that she teaches. And she had a 4-step process. The first one was being aware, and I'm just applying it to this what we're talking about, being aware. The second one is feeling what it does to you, like the emotion, like you said, the panic, which is the fear, whatever it is, you just feel it, and then move to sensing it in the body. Like, what is my body feeling now? Not feeling, but sensing in the body. So the feeling is the emotion, the sensing is the actual physicality speaking to you. And she took us through it, and I've done it twice, and it did exactly what Brian said. It transmuted. It just transformed. It was just a process, so like a plug-in. Like here's some new energy, here's some higher wisdom, here's what it feels like emotionally, here's what it feels like physically, and then you just align with it, and it's transmuted.
Dissipates.
Yeah. So that's a good question. Victor, do you have anything on your mind that you'd like to get some feedback on from everybody?
No, I just would like to share a story though.
Absolutely.
If that would be okay. I've been on my journey for a lot of years, and of course I'm a complicated human, just like everybody else. I've been told by the spirit that I'm hard-headed. But as a young man, I was like 21 years old, and me and my girlfriend was having some issues, about ready to be homeless. So we were staying in a motel, and the landlord came over and said that we needed to pay by the end of the day, or he'd have to ask us to leave. And so it was a Sunday morning, and I told her, okay, well, we're going to go to church, okay? And it's okay. We don't have to worry about this. We're going to go to church when we can go ask God, right? And I, at the time, I wasn't necessarily a spiritual person. I never, I've been to church a handful of times and been saved all of them and still did the same stuff. I didn't really have the faith in church, So this was in Roswell, New Mexico, and her and I walked into this little hole in the wall church downtown Roswell, New Mexico. And so there was a Hispanic gentleman. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
My battery's going to die. At the end of his sermon, he asked if there was anybody that wanted to come up and offer their gift of prayer on the altar. And so I did so. I got up. I've never done this before in my life. I went and I got on my knees and I said, God, I don't know who you are, what you are, but I sure could use some help right now. And right then and there, when I said that, it was like the dome of my consciousness. When my eyes were closed, of course, it was dark. When this opened, I was like standing on a stage in front of a big field out in nature with tree lines and whatnot, wildflowers, beautiful scenery. Something that was near and dear to my heart, I would say. And then I was there in the presence of this. The only thing that I could describe it would be perfect love. There are no words to describe this, and so I'd like to, I stayed there, I basked in it, but, through the filters that were put on me that I didn't even recognize at the time, I didn't stay there long. I should have said, boy, I want to stay here. But the first thing that came into my mind was, boy, what the heck is this? And then I told myself, I don't deserve to be here. And then right when I said that, everything snapped shut. And my girlfriend didn't have that experience. And so now, 30 years later, I actually have run across people that have had this same experience, but in a slightly different way.
Yeah.
And so we know there's a creator. We know we're a piece of him. And I'm starting to get the sense that we need to learn to love each other as much as we love ourselves. And in so doing, when we're happy, we're in a higher vibration. And if we don't, if we're not out trying to get something out of anybody and being out there and being peaceable and being free with all and accepting all of everybody, then we would be a whole lot better off as a race, because we're all just one people, right?
Yeah. Way beyond the human.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. Brian, you got anything?
It's a great story that you share, Vivek, and I totally resonate with the underlying message. I mean, it's at the core and center of everything that I seek to spread, and it's the truth of oneness. The more each and every one of us connects to this truth, the more that we see ourselves in each other, the more united and the more powerful we'll grow as a collective. And from there, we just continue to co-create better and better things. So that's exactly why I'm here. And I just have a lot of appreciation, and I just want to express my gratitude to each of you that have stepped forward here to serve.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thanks.
And I want to just restate. I want to restate the invitation to each one of you to do a Soul Speaks 5D solo show with me. And also want to take a cue from Victor's story, right? I didn't, just thought, how can we end the show? Been on an hour and 15 minutes, beautiful time. I just want to say that I can identify and I can relate to your story. I can also see why what happened to you happened, because of that fifth adjective that I use every day on these shows, and that's courage. There's something about the courage of the soul that the universe comes in fast and hard. And the other comment I would make on that too is that I think we've all also been in that space when we say, "Oh, I don't deserve this," and the dimensional experience goes away, or the angel goes away, or the whatever goes away, the moment goes away. But it's real, and you're right. And we are doing what Brian said. We are doing what Victor said, and we're holding this vibration in this field for longer and longer periods of time, and it's being done through the individual. Morgan told me a long time ago, the road to oneness is through individuality. And that's what it means. It's what Victor said about finding their own truth. So I just like to propose this, and you guys can go in sequence, and Brian, Victor, if you would like to. I'm just going to throw out my prayer, my declaration my expression in the presence of my brothers and sisters on behalf of all the collective, and to say, to the universe, to source, the you, me, we, and it, that we're proud to be here on this earth, serving, boots on the ground, serving the universe. We know that this is a journey of self-reliance of the soul. We know this is a journey of coming into our own power, and any and all support that can be granted to us, we welcome. We welcome. And we're thankful, full gratitude, honor, love, respect, and reverence. And this is a beautiful moment in my life as each day becomes the best day I've ever had. And I'm so happy to be here in this moment and in this time with the whole 8 billion souls that are here and all the aspects that are aligned with us. Thank you. And if you'd like to say anything?
Oh, it's not my turn yet.
Oh, it's not.
No.
Brian?
Sure. We are one. I am you. You are me. We are in this together. You're supported. You're cared for, and you're appreciated in ways beyond what you can imagine. You're here for a reason, a very important reason. You wouldn't be here if you didn't have a purpose on this planet at this time. You have something to share. You have a bright light inside you, and our collective is waiting for you to shine it as bright as you can. So there's no limit to what you can do. So allow yourself as much joy and love as you can, and in doing so, share it with all those around you.
Victor?
I couldn't have said it better myself. That's a beautiful statement. We are all one. I am you, you are I, all is one. And each individually, though, we are on our own journey. And the more we can be in that state of happiness, how much can we raise the vibration of those who are around us just by the emanation of who we are?
Yeah, thank you. Anne?
Yeah, I would like to say to everybody just to be patient. I feel like a lot of people are working like in their own little bubble, but I feel like the oversouls are coming in since 2 days. Like we are really going to unite in the groups we're supposed to be with, and we're not meant to be alone like this. Like I know we're not alone, but like really in the physical, and that yeah, it's about patience and just continuing to do step by step, and not trying to figure out in the head, and really honor the shadow and really honor all the parts of us, because as long as we don't honor them, we will get like, it will hinder, it will be retarded. Like the more we try to keep the shadow away, the less we can get into the unity, because
Yeah.
they go hand in hand.
Right on.
Amazingly put.
I'm gonna end the show with a poem by a friend of mine named Gop from India. I'm gonna put it on the comments. It's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. And I found it when I came off the streets years ago. I befriended him in a lot of poetry groups when I used to write poetry, but it's called The Smiling Messiah. And it says, when the calamities disturb my being, when the brutalities pierce my core, when I feel like a helpless warrior, when I crumble down in the chaos, when my heart and thoughts dry up and grow like a desert, when the greed and blindness create hurdles around, when I contradict myself and become weak and tired, when I think how to cry, when I fear how to smile, when I think, why am I like this, when my concern is not all mine and is all about things beyond me and that is yet to come. All I see is a beautiful healing face of an intelligent warrior, of a divine avatar, a friend, a sage of life, a musician for all the mundane and divine souls, the smiling flute player called the enchanting Krishna, the Messiah with a sword called smile, the dearest beloved of the soul. I feel the place within where you reign. I wish I shall inherit your never fading smile to heal myself and many. Thank you all for coming. Thank you for being
Thank
a part of
you.
this. I look forward to collaborating with you all in the future. And also, Brian, you and your partner and anyone else that you, Ann, or Victor might have in mind is welcome too. Thank you very much.
Thank you
Thank
so
you for
much
having me.
to all of you, to everyone that listened.
Nice
So
to
much
meet you
gratitude.
all.
Peace out.